How we doing, folks? It's Sunday night. I may be in a mood, but we're here for your camaraderie delight. It's Colin Bakers and Nicola Bryant. In the space race, 1963, we have the Soviets, we have the KGB, we have US spies galore, we have animals that can talk, we have entities on the moon, we have a moon base that wasn't there before. What did we think? Well, you're about to find out, but before we get to that, it's your panel for this evening. Joining us from NYC, Mr. Will Medina. Well, how goes it, man?
Hey now, how you doing, everybody?
Good to see you, mate. All the way from Mexico, he has the beard that must be feared. Texas Town Wells. How are we doing, Timbo?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. And it's Monday morning, early doors. He's from down under. He has the thunder. AJ, how goes it, boss?
Hi guys, it's not me, it's my wife that has the thunder.
Ah, well, that's between you, her, and the handcuffs in the bedroom. So, yes, the space race guys, Colin Bakers, Sixth Doctor and Nicola Bryant, stumble upon a space program conspiracy during the height of the Cold War in 1963, a couple of days before the assassination of good old JFK. We have space missions to the moon. We have astronauts going missing. And we have dogs coming back who can talk. Go figure. What did we think? Well, let's find out. Well, can I get your opening thoughts, please, mate, on the space race? Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant. Did you like this?
Yeah, I like this much more than last week's review that we did. Because you could tell right in the beginning when the Doctor and Peri find those three bodies in the van, and then find out that two of them were KGB agents. There was something going on. Of course, when they went to the Soviet space station and bring back the supposedly lost astronaut who she couldn't do certain things, and it turned out to be Laika, the dog that was sent out into space. That made out a big mystery about how this was able, how Laika was able to talk, and what happened to the female astronaut. And of course, who murdered those agents and all that, and for what reason? And then, of course, listening to the whole thing, you find out that one of them was working for the U.S. And of course, like you mentioned in the beginning, the United States had a space station on the dark side of the moon in case a nuclear war would have happened. And then the Doctor had to investigate himself with the other astronaut / spy. And how to try to avoid being killed himself, and then back in Soviet, Peri, of course, being trying to do her own investigation, while at the same time avoiding being picked up, by certain lonely Soviet spies and so.
Yes.
So it's a great story like that. But I'm in a little bit. I'm gonna ask the important question. I'm gonna ask you, but you can give me the answer. But I'm a little bit confused on one thing.
Okay, no problem. Timbo, can I get your opening thoughts, please, mate?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, isn't it? The idea that all this was going on in 1963, long before we ever set foot on the moon or whatever, and it's cool too how like kind of like last week they get split up and they both have their own adventures with other people. I like that aspect of it too. It's really funny to me though that the big reveal that it's November 23rd or 22nd, and it's the day of they can't reach the president. They do that off screen in between episodes. The president gets assassinated. I thought that was really funny. I mean, not funny, haha, but funny how they did. How they pulled off such a big, monumental, historic event. They did it in between episodes. I thought that was very clever.
Yeah, that was kind of neat. How you get the rocket missile hurtling towards them at the end of part 3, and lo and behold, Harvey Oswald does the deed, and they're stuck in orbit with this missile coming towards them.
Well, they make the Americans look so stupid in this as well. Like, I mean, they've got all this secret stuff going on, and they keep it on the dark side of the moon so nobody will know about it. It's just very funny. It's all Cold War. It's really from 50 years on. It looks pretty silly.
It does, yeah. Dark Side of the Moon, eat your heart out, Pink Floyd. So you know, we kind of grumble. AJ, opening thoughts, mate, the space race.
Yeah, I like how this story takes place in a really oh, sorry, I'm trying to think of the word. A boiling point of history between two massive nations, and you've got all these little things that happen because these stories happen in 1963, and it's all, you know, a turning point within history. One small thing that will change it. You know, the Russians could have been the ones who landed on the moon first and all that, and instead of America. I like also the aspect of there's a bit of real science in this as well, with the Doctor uses the feedback loop to wake up, as we know, Leica eventually.
Yeah.
And also the sci-fi effect of the black hole, but we'll get more into that later on. But it's a hodgepodge story. I like it though.
Great, mate. And yeah, that's a very good analogy. Hodgepodge is probably a good word for this for me. Like, well, I did enjoy this a lot more than last week's story. There's just a whole lot of things in the melting pot here. You've got the situation with the animals. You've got what's going on with the moon base on the dark side of the moon between both nations. You've got the spy and espionage between the original astronaut, who turns out to be Leica once she's been assembled, who was actually, ironically, in the early 1960s, having a romantic affair with the actual US spy. Yeah, there you go. That was
you mean the other astronaut, Marinka?
Marinka, and was it Petrov? The US one?
Larissa
yeah.
Petrov.
Larissa Petrov, who was a US intelligence spy, and the initial first astronaut who went up. They were
in more ways than one.
Yeah, they shall we say were a fan of the taco. You know, let's say Swan Lake need not apply. And that was an interesting concept, especially in the early 1960s. Wish you went to Woodstock, but yeah, interesting for me. And then of course you've got all the red shirts hanging about the base with regards to the guard, obviously, who had a thing for Peri, who got blown away by a monkey later on. Go figure. Sounds batshit crazy, but it actually is. Yes, monkeys could talk in this episode, as opposed to the Wizard of Oz when they could fly. And who was the leader of the program?
Oh, you mean the general?
Yeah.
Mikhail Leonov.
Yeah, Leonov, the one who basically who fought Leica to the death and all the rest of it. The one who initially imprisoned, from Leica's point of view.
Yeah, who threw her in the cage and sent her to space.
There you go, yeah. Who played that fella?
David Shaw Parker.
Okay, and Leica was played by?
Well, Leica was also the same woman who did Marinka. That was Samantha Biot.
Yeah, very, very, very good portrayal in this, man. You have to convey a dog at the same time, still sounds somewhat human. That was decent for me.
Not really. I mean, because she still had the vocal cords of the woman, though. That's the thing. So yeah, and you almost forget that it's a dog.
True. Not true, but at the same time, you've got to convey the whole aspect of these humans. You know, they chained me up, they sent me. It really depends. I mean, I kind of, maybe that's, and the bakery's open. I can't really, maybe that's the wrong choice of words. I mean, I've never been a dog and I've never been chained up, but, you know,
you mean you don't remember?
I wish no one I was sober at least, you know, but, yeah, I withdraw that statement, Tim. Fair point. No, you're right. No, really. Forget that. But yeah, this was a decent outing. The two leads are in top form as ever for me, so you can't really grumble. Right, guys, any events or characters that stood out for you besides the Woof Woof? AJ?
Yeah, I like when they're trying to get the spaceship down at the beginning of the story, and they're saying, you know, push the red button. It's like, what's red? Like, it's a human brain, but it still has the concept of a dog, and it can only see in black and white.
Yeah.
Remember, the dog doesn't have 100% of human brains. It has part of a human brain. And it says it's a dog don't see in color. They're colorblind.
That's what I said, black and white.
I heard that recently that's a myth.
Oh, really?
I thought dogs seen. I thought, well, I know it's not black and white. It's something else.
different
But
shades.
They're always changing the stories anyway. I mean, you never know.
They definitely kind of see 100% colour as we could, but you're right. I think that keeps changing by the following decade, Tim. So it's you know, it's good to one's interpretation. Anything else for you, AJ?
Also, the concept of the black hole, it reminded me of the movie Sphere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they go into the sphere and they come back out changed.
Yep.
So I thought maybe that was the same idea they were trying to play with.
All right, cool, mate. Timbo, what about you? What stands out, mate?
I think Peri was very good in this one. She got a lot to do, and she was very smart. She wasn't just running around and screaming, you know. So that was a nice change. As far as the dog thing, though, it seems kind of odd that if you give, I doubt that it's true that if you give a dog more brain power, his first reaction is going to be to turn on humans, because they literally are man's best friend. I mean, in so many ways. And yeah, you do discipline them, or you do keep a leash on them, or you do box them up at night or whatever. But I don't think the dog takes that personally or sees that as a bad thing. I mean, I know that's kind of off topic, but you get my point.
No,
the way that this dog was able to get all the other animals together and, you know, to go fight the oppressors is a bit unlikely.
I think it really depends on the influence of the entity. Was it the black hole? So, you know, I get where you're coming from the point of view of your normal everyday dog, but this thing was being driven by a force for a black hole. So it's one of the situations where you probably need to suspend your disbelief to a small extent.
Definitely.
Well, how about you, mate?
Well, the one besides the two main characters, of course, Larissa stood out because at first, you know, she was going to crash her and the doctor onto the moon to protect the moon base, and then of course, she helped the doctor avoid getting destroyed by the United States nuclear warhead by revealing that she's a spy like that.
Yep.
But what bugged me out is that at the end that she went into the black hole with all the other animals that the doctor saved.
Yeah.
And to be with the species that we don't know who they are like that. So here's a question: did she ever came back again to meet the Sixth Doctor again, or the other ones?
Who played Larissa? Who played
her?
Yeah.
Karen Henson.
That was a wee bit of a cheap ending for me for her. Let's just jump into the hole and no face the consequences of one's actions.
Well, she thought the doctor was going to take her back to the Soviet Union, not realize he could go back to the United States.
Yeah.
So that's what
I think she wasn't. She was a spy, so she wasn't necessarily a bad person. It kind of points out how silly the Cold War was. I mean, I mean, in other words, she was just doing her part as a spy. She wasn't necessarily evil. I don't think that was the point.
That's the funny thing is that she's a human that now she's in another place with a different species.
Mm-hmm.
And that's funny that, to my knowledge, Big Finish and that brought her back, that character, to find out how much she learned from that species that whether she ran into the 6, 7, 8, whatever the doctors again like that, or Charlie or whatever, since Charlie been bouncing around different planets like that. So that's the good question I'd like to know. Another thing that, of course, Leica stood out because of the dog being able to talk and all that. And the other thing that, not only is the question I want to ask, like, even though the alien species gave the Leica the voice and the intelligence, how can a dog pick up a scalpel and cut somebody's head open? Since their paw is different, you know, we got thumbs like that.
Yeah, you know what? That struck me as well. When that scene happened and they were ripping out the larynx and the vocal cords and whatnot, all these humans, they put in there with monkeys, dogs, cats and whatever. I'm sitting there thinking, when that portion of the story's happening, my God, Carol Ann would love this story. But there you go. She's always on the side of the four-legged fury. So, yeah.
Of course, the general, the Soviet general, who fought Leica to the death, he stood out pretty good because he wasn't afraid of nothing. He wanted to kill every dog there, every animal there.
Yeah, he was a ruthless bastard. When the plan came up to basically, you know, put them to sleep. Yes, let's put them to sleep and we'll shoot them where they lie. Like, wow.
I said, wow.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Have you had a bad day with mother? Yeah. So, no, you're right. He was a ruthless guy. But at the same time, you know, one man's ruthless son of a bitch is another guy's freedom fighter. So I guess he thought he would just do his job for honour and country and all that. Enough, guys.
Well, the good thing about it, because by the end of the story, that the moon base, the Doctor destroyed it by leaving that nuclear bomb there. And then, of course, people would still think that Neil Armstrong was the first astronaut to get there. But what the funny joke is that, so that means so Neil Armstrong was not the first. It's, like that little funny joke that we think it was all
fake.
fake. Yeah, it's fake like that.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we all know, it was shot by Stanley Kubrick and Stephen Tosh was on the moon.
And and Stanley took that to the grave with him, so we'll never know.
Indeed, yeah. Go watch The Shining, folks. Red rum and all that.
That's why he was killed.
Indeed. And no, he wasn't the second gunman on the grassy knoll. So, yeah. So it was just one big freighter come the end of this story, and Neil and Buzz were the first ones to do the deed, and history was put back as it should have been. Go figure. But no, all in all, with the guy's ability to, this really is a lot better. Colin Baker, Nicola Bryan, posing as the two KGB agents, two deceased KGB agents, I might add, done really well. The funny thing for me was when she was getting quizzed towards the beginning, where are you from? Well, you're from the West. Yeah, I'm from the West. What about in the West? They get through all these countries, and then he hits on Latvia. Yeah, she's from Latvia. Why not? They've got big mountains, so why not? Latvia is cool by me. Yeah, Twin Peaks. So there we go. Now, but stellar stuff, and hell, I enjoyed this one. All right, some of it maybe a wee bit disbelievable with the dogs, operating on humans and whatnot, and talking monkeys, firing machine guns, but hell, you see some batshit crazy stuff these days, so suspend your disbelief a wee bit and you might enjoy it, folks. Not bad at all. Right, guys. Open mic pause in the cast. Anything else you want to bring up before we get this rated and in the can for the evening?
Yeah, for me, I'm really shocked. Peri's a vegetarian.
I think she mentioned that before on a different story.
Yeah, and she's a vegetarian.
She doesn't like the sausage. Damn.
This is the funny thing about this story, that why this is going on, and I don't know which doctor. At the same time, he's in that book, Who Killed Kennedy, and then at the same time,
that was John Pertwee.
At the same time, the first 8 doctors are in London dealing with the things from the Light in the End at the same day,
and at the same time. Matt Smith's Day of the Moon with the silence.
Yeah.
So, work that one out, folks.
No, it's that's what I'm saying. If you try to look at Doctor Who as a big picture, then he's anywhere and everywhere all at the same time. I mean, possibly. So, in other words, at this point with 13 of them running around, you'd think they'd run into each other more often since they're always just hanging around the planet Earth. So, I mean, it's not like you have to wonder if when they're going somewhere on Earth, do they have to look at the thing? Is that, wait a minute, Marty here somewhere doing something? I don't want to.
Yeah, where am I? Oh, hang on, wait. Hang on. The one with the ties here. I can't go there now. I'll get 10 minutes. Yeah,
Sorry, correction. Day of the Moon took place in 1969, not 1963.
Oh.
Nixon was the president.
Nixon was the president. The moon landing.
All right. Well, the last 2 minutes of the fucking thing, then. My bad. Because they went forward and watched it, didn't they? So there you go. Yeah. So I was technically right, even though I was wrong. So I don't care. But thank you for correcting me. Bad me. My history sucks. Yeah.
That's what. So does your team.
Yeah. Shut up. Both of them, I might add. Anyway, guys, anything else?
Well, it's funny too. It just how silly stuff like the Cold War looked 50 years on. I mean, we live in a whole different world in this century that's completely removed from that whole Red Scare. Yeah, it's like it's to have a story built around that and actually work so well. I mean, it's a very good story. It's just kind of funny. Like you said, you do have to suspend your disbelief just because it's historically accurate. Today's people can't really relate to that kind of.
No. That
kind of feeling, you know what I mean, living in that time, I don't think.
Especially
none of us were born yet.
No, I mean, this thing lasted, hello, folks, this thing lasted until the mid-80s, folks.
Yeah.
And you're like, really?
It's interesting, too, that Peri points out that everybody remembers where they were on that day.
Yeah.
But in fact, she wasn't born yet either because she's from the 80s. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
so
There you go. Oh, interesting.
The one thing I like about the story is the real science of
Mm-hmm.
this in the story, but also with a bit of sci-fi elements to it, like where they mentioned the Van Allen belt radiation.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really hear much about that in sci-fi. You know, the radiation, the possibility of being killed, the black hole being a three-dimensional object and not a flat disk like most people would see in movies, because it is a three-dimensional object. It's a real thing that you can literally run into. It's not it's not like a plug hole.
Yeah.
it's also, I think they keep it in 60s terms as well, right? Basically, the viewpoint of the story is in the 1960s.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have modern things like space shuttles. You're just going to have those simple rockets that they had.
The rockets, yeah.
Yeah, it was contemporary.
Yeah, definitely within its own time frame, which, you know, made it stick out more, if you ask me. Well, is that us, guys?
Stephen Hawking.
What about him?
They mentioned him in the story.
He was mentioned in the story.
Oh,
You got
okay.
name checked.
Yeah. Name check for Professor Hawking. Okay, there you go. Well, Stephen Hawking aside, I guess it's that time again.
To hear a new country song by Steve Williams called "If I Can't Be Your Number One, Then Number Two on You."
Yes, and if my head coach doesn't move his ass, Pedro will be going back on my ass very shortly. The Space Race. Big Finish Main Range. Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant. Coincidentally, if anybody sends me anything in terms of a review, I will insert it here.
Hello, this is my bit for Audio Who. Thank you, Graham, for being flexible with me during these difficult times with my internet and my computer. The important thing to know about the space race is that Sixth and Peri are amazing. Amazing. I mean, like, they have humor and romance and interest, and it's just really, really cool. And they impersonate some Soviet people, and then they proceed to meet some talking dogs and go to space and find an American base on the moon. And they missed the Cybermen and they missed all the other stuff that was up there, but you know, they had to find one thing anyway, so that was cool. And there was a black hole on the moon, little one, but it was enough to change everything. Anyway, I liked it. It was a great story. I will give this an amazing piece of adventure 10 out of 10. I was truly amused. And nice work, Nicola Bryant. Nice work. You nailed Russian, American, and, you know, didn't slip into British. You were just amazing. So that's what I got. Thanks.
AJ, what do you give the Space Race out of 10?
9 3/4 out of 10. It was top.
9 3/4. How am I supposed to put 9-7-5? I'll find it on the keyboard somewhere. All right, mate. 9 3/4 from Down Under, and he has the thunder. Timbo, what's the review from Techie Kids? What do you give it?
I'm going to give it 9.5. It loses half a point for those really crap American accents that were.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah. Brooklyn to Mission Control. Okay, 9.5 for Timbo. And speaking of NYC, well, what do you guess out of 10, mate? The Space Race.
I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. And hopefully Nick Briggs could bring back the female spy that jumped in the black hole so we could find out more what's going on. But we don't know who that species is, like that. Or who are they?
Well, we still don't know who the species is in Midnight either. You'll figure.
But nobody's asking about them, so.
Well, no, yeah, anyway. Still got volume 3 of Classic Doctor's New Monsters to come. Yeah, and for me, I'll give this a 9 out of 10. Solid listen. Like Tim alluded to, as well as myself, you don't need to suspend your disbelief in terms, but if you like your 1960s jargon, if you like that portion in history, this might be for you. It's only 2 hours, wee 4-parter, good little listen. And if you're an animal activist, hell, you might be fist pumping in the air as you listen, even though some of it is a bit far-fetched. Woof woof. So, yeah, good listen. You go have a bash and you be the judge. And with that, guys, we are done, dusted and finito for the evening with another Audio Who. Shout out to our buddy Philip, who's visiting relatives this week. He'll be back with his Fighting Fit next week, albeit a little poorer after his trip to Chiswick yesterday. And speaking of next week, we shall be sitting down and tackling the final 1963 story in this little trifecta of tales for Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred, alongside the Countermeasures crew in the Assassination Games. I'll let you guess what that's about, but it might be a bit misleading. So look forward to tackling that one and seeing what the crew think about that.
Ooh.
Indeed. Ooh, the suspense is killing me. And there's the cover right there, yes. So we'll tackle that one next Sunday. And with that, guys, I just have to say to the panel, thank you for your attendance as always. Please check out our regular buddies on the wonderful wackety world of the YouTube. You've got the guys and dolls there at Geeks Assembled. You've got Dr. Freedom and his news broadcast, his Omega Files, and the Adventures of Dr. Freedom and Eric. You've got Johnny Boyles, Sammy Carter, Mike Shannon, whenever he's online. You know the draw by now. Like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. And with that, we're getting the hell on out of here because I'm going to kick my TV screen in because my second team lost today. So fuck you, Jets, and take care of yourself and each other, folks.
Be seeing you.
Bye-bye.